Hello everyone and welcome to Mentoring with Geraldine and the Bite-Sized YouTube channel. I hope you're enjoying my YouTube channel. If you'd like me to talk about anything in particular, then please let me know. And if you've got any comments, pop them in below. I look forward to seeing you soon. Hello everyone, welcome to Mentoring with Geraldine and the Bite-Sized podcast. How the devil are you? So today I thought I'd talk a little bit about the companies that support us as practitioners and how that can be misconstrued, how that can be taken amiss, but how it does actually support us because they do lots of things for us. And yes, they earn money out of us because of that, but there's all sorts of ways that we can be using them and still not used by them at the same time. So what have we got? We've got all these big name companies that we use and that we love. They have education available to us, some better than others. A couple of the companies are purely, it's just selling. After you've been in the business a little while, you go along to their seminars and they're just selling their product. It's very dull. It's just all about product. And then there are other companies that have independent speakers and the only time you see the product is in the break, like if you were at any normal conference or seminar. Now, the companies that are selling product generally have all sorts of tiered programs, buy X number and you'll get the X number free. And if you spend a certain amount over X amount of time, you'll get free admission to seminars, you get free accommodation, you get all these things. So those companies aren't necessarily the ones that are supporting us in the way that we need to be supported as practitioners. Many of the companies have the person in charge, the person who's running it, the CEO or the person who developed it, was a naturopath, but they were very business minded and they set up a business to sell product. They created product and then they realised there's so many rules and restrictions in Australia, and there are with the TGA, quite rightly, thank you very much, that they had to go commercial and they had to go big so that they could really, they could get the Austell number and the ARTG and all of those things sorted rather than saying it's a food, which is of course, the majority of product on the market, on the shelves is, this is a food, and then they don't have to jump through hoops and it means that you don't really know what's in the product. So we do love our Austell products and I think we do have very good reason in Australia to know and to believe in these companies because they do jump through those hoops. So long ago, and I do believe that if you're in Strictly Education and Sport, I think the video is still in there in the Facebook group, you can go and watch the video of me on the short tour of the Herbal Extract Company. Now, the Herbal Extract Company was explaining to me about how they jump through those TGA hoops. And there are a few American companies that want the Austell number on their product, and so they pay the TGA to come and inspect their facilities. They're not just paying the TGA off, they're paying for people who rock up at their business, they sit down with their computers, laptops, clipboards, whatever it is, they've come along, whatever it is they need, their briefcases, they sit down and they basically just demand information and the company has to produce the information. So simple things like, refrigerator temperatures. So I used to run restaurants back in the day and the health inspectors would come round. We'd have our own health inspectors and then the council would come round and inspect and they'd check the temperature of the refrigerator, right? They'd use a thermometer and they'd check the temperature of the refrigerator and they would check that my thermometers were working. That's all they checked. Now with the TGA, they sit heavy and they say, prove that your refrigerator is at temperature all the time. And so the company will produce a spreadsheet of everyone signing off every day to say that the temperature remained that temperature throughout the day. And then they'll say, well, prove that's correct. So that all of the things have to be double checked and triple checked. So the TGA sit there at, it costs thousands of dollars every 3 to 5 years. So once they've hit the 3-year mark, 3 to 5 years, the TGA rock up, their compliance officers rock up, sit down and say, prove it. So all these companies with Austell on the front of their product have had to prove that it really is what's in there and that the standard of their facility is really up there. All right, so we've got the best standards. So we've got the best product. Now, and all of these companies are doing it. All of these companies with these Austell numbers are complying, right? So then how do we choose what company and what product? Well, do we align with that company and with that product? Do we have the same values as that company? So there are companies that I won't use because I don't believe that their values align with my values. I like to be able to give a discount to clients on product. It doesn't affect me as long as I'm not the one holding the product. So traditionally when I still have a dispensary, a very small dispensary, but I see the majority of people online now. So the majority of my clients, like 99%, 99.9%, I've got one client who sees me. So 99.9% of my clients are online, and so they get their products from a distributor. Now, obviously, I am choosing my product on my values, on my ethics, because it's all about me. My values are different to yours and to your neighbours and to your aunties, just as yours are different to mine, because often we don't know someone else's internal values, right? Values are something that will be coming up in my book that's being released later in the year so that we can understand our values. But when we think about our products, we look at our products, we have them. Do we align with that company? Yes, we do. No, we don't. By using a distributor, I can choose within that distribution company which companies I'm then going to use, which means that I don't have to stick to one brand by purchasing directly from them, or by, not just purchasing directly from them, but using or only their product for my client. So I'd have to have a whole system of their product for my client, whereas that's not necessarily the best product. That's the thing with multi-level marketing, is that to gain the money, you have to sell that brand, you have to sell that product. So that doesn't align ethically with any professional. That's why that's against APRA rules, it's against many association rules, because you have to align yourself with one brand. So we have to avoid aligning ourselves with one brand, because it means that we're not looking outside the square, because none of our clients fit the square, do they? That's why they've come to see us in the first place. That's why they're seeing a natural therapist, because they're currently not fitting into the square of modern medicine. So they've come to see a natural therapist to be outside that square, to fit that square peg into that round hole, or whatever all of those lines are that people use. So we need to use different products from different companies, and a distributor is actually a great way of doing that. Now, with the distributors, some of them share your information and what you've bought with the companies, and many don't. So that can be a good thing and a bad thing. So it can be, for me, it's a great thing. I like it. But at the same time, it's a bad thing, and the company don't know. So I don't get any of their bonuses if they have bonuses. So one of the big companies that has herbs and products, you join up and it's, like your your 10th treatment free, your stamp, you sell so much, certain amount, and then you get whatever. If one of the other companies that, you'll get free seminars, you'll get free accommodation, but they're selling seminars, so I don't want to go anyway. But one of the other companies that's purely us, it's ethically amazing. If you buy directly from them, you get 5% off. So it is actually worth, if you have your own dispensary, purchasing directly from them for that 5% discount. If you want to, you can pass that 5% on to your client, or gain the extra 5%. So when we think about the companies that we use, we really need to think, is this company aligning with my values? Is this company supporting me as a practitioner? And, I'm supporting them by buying their product. So how are they supporting me? What are they offering me that I can then use, learn from, pass on to my client? What is the point of this company for me? Do I want to put them at the top of my learning list? Or will I stick with my distributor? My rep from the distributor will come out and talk to me about all of the products they're distributing. So I get learning across a whole gambit of product. They tend to teach you about new products that have come into their line. So there tends to be a bias there as well. But that's okay, because we're learning about new products, we're learning about new companies, and then we can go and investigate them ourselves. We know they've got the Austell number on the fronts. We know it's good quality product, which takes away a lot of that background research. We don't have to do the research about the company itself. We don't have to do the research about their quality control standards, because the TGA has done that for us. You know, the Therapeutic Goods Administration have gone and done that job for us. We don't have to do it. We can then be looking at the values and the ethos and the ethics of that company, what they're offering, what their behaviors are, whether we align with them or not. So we choose to use that brand or not. So we've chosen our brands across the board, and it means that because we've got so much to choose from, our client will have a better outcome because we're able to choose the product that suits their problem. It's not like an online shopping mart thing. You know, these big companies, you type in, you know, you want to buy zinc, and you type in zinc, and then at the bottom it says, oh, everyone else who bought that product also bought this product. Why don't you buy this product too? There's none of that with us going to distributors. Ours is, my client needs zinc. There are these that the distributor carries 5, 7, 9 different zincs, and we find the zinc that will suit that client, that is the right one for that client, depending on, you know, what's going on with them. They might have MTHFR, SNPs, or whatever it is. They might need a particular zinc. I don't know why I grabbed zinc off the top of my head, but all the companies make zinc, and they all make it slightly differently, some with cofactors, some without. Iron is another one. So iron, of course, over the counter, they're all given an Austell number, aren't they, in the pharmacies here or in the chemists. So, but some of those zincs are really poorly absorbable, and, you know, the client will get constipated and have black poo because they've got really nasty, cheap iron from, you know, over the counter. Whereas we have got so many different irons to choose from, haven't we? And they don't have those side effects. And then we can, you know, we've got liquid iron for children, we've got chewable irons, you know, for people who don't want to swallow tablets and don't want to drink a liquid. We've got capsules, we've got tablets, we've got a massive selection, because the companies look at the other companies and go, well, you know, there's no other liquids, we'll create the liquid. Oh, there's no chewable, we'll create the chewable. Oh, there's capsules, they can be split open and emptied into something, so maybe we'll do a tablet so it's easier to swallow. Oh, none of these have a herbal cofactor. Let's stick nettle in here because we know that nettle helps the uptake of iron. Those sorts of things. So they're all looking differently, but it means because we're not following one company and doing something with one company, we are using all these different distributors. We're able to choose the best product for our client overall to support their health and to get them on the road to recovery faster than we would otherwise be able to if we just stuck with one product and it wasn't tested and accredited, and, you know, we had to worry about quality of the product as well as quality of the company supplying that product. So I just have a little go about companies, and but I did want to remind you that there's lots out there, and that your distributor, your local distributor, and I mean, I don't have one anymore. South Australia doesn't have a distribution centre anymore. We did for a very, very long time. We don't anymore, so we have to get everything interstate. So there's lots. There's lots. I'm not going to mention them all. Or maybe I should. Okay, there's Renner in Perth. There's Oborne is in both Sydney and Melbourne. There's Araya up in Townsville, and Vitally. Oh, I can't remember where Vitally comes out of. Do they come out of Sydney? I can't remember where Vitally comes out of. Oh, that's terrible. Anyway, but I mean, they're for everyone all over the country. You don't have to, live in those states, because I don't live in any of those states, and I use all of those companies. Oh, of course, there's Integria as well. My Integria, which is a brand. So it's not a distributor. So I'm trying to talk about distributors, aren't I? And although they are a distributor of their own brands, then Then we've got companies that make herbal tinctures for us as well. And I'm struggling to remember the name of one of the companies, so I'm not going to mention those. But there are companies that mix herbal tinctures for us, and there are companies that will compound for us as well. So we've got a lot of options in distribution companies and facilities, and it's worth having a look, and it's worth signing up for them. You can, as a student, sign up. It used to be in your second year you could sign up to distributors, so make sure you check. You normally have to belong to an association, or you send them in your uni particulars to get yourself a distribution account. But it is worth signing up to the companies so that you've got a really good selection of product. And what some of the companies is the product companies, they of course have paperwork that you can use for your clients. And yes, that does mean that you're looking at that branding, and it may subtly in the back of your mind make you waver towards that product. But I have a tendency to waver towards the product that I've been using for years that works. It's not really a big one. I have a tendency to use the older companies that have been around a bit longer, simply because they've been around that bit longer and I've been using them for that bit longer, and I've had really good results from their products. But it does mean I mix and match for every client. So it does mean that distributors are really, really helpful to me, and I'm not aligned with anyone. All right. And I think it's something you do need to think about. It is something you do need to look at the companies and, what do they stand for? What are their values? Do they support you, the practitioner, with paperwork with an education centre? Do they reach out to you? But make sure you're mixing and matching, and that means you will get the very best for your client than if you just stick with one company. All right, so that's it for me today. I hope you've enjoyed today, and I hope it's got you thinking. I mean, that's the reason for many of these podcasts, is just to get you, cogitating over some of these things and think to yourself, yeah, I do that. Yeah, I do that. Oh, no, I hadn't thought about that. I just need to get on and think about that. So you know the deal. If you've enjoyed it, please subscribe and rate and review. I'd love a few more reviews. If you've got a minute, just scroll down on the app that you're using and leave a review. So it's been great chatting. I hope you have a good one, and I'll catch up with you soon. See ya. Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe.